Ninjalerts Club. Sorry, we are a little bit behind today. We had some technical difficulties, but in this episode, we're going to be briefly talking about the BAYC delisting that happened yesterday on OpenSea. And of course, we also have a special guest today. So we will bring him up and introduce him in just a bit. As always, these episodes are brought to you by Ninjalerts. Ninjalerts is an NFT that you can buy that grants you lifetime access to the app. It allows you to track your favorite whales, influencers, and friends. Every time they mint, buy, or sell something, you get a notification sent to your smartphone or sent to your desktop, whatever device you're using on when they do so. So without further ado, good morning, Ken. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man. It's just I'm having a little bit of audio issues right now, but I'm feeling a little better. Well, I'm feeling a lot
Good.
better. Yeah, so
Yeah,
hopefully by the end of this weekend, I should be totally healthy. So by next week, I'll
nice.
be totally healthy. I hope. I can only hope, Chris. That's all I
Yeah,
can
man,
do
that's
at
the
this
hope.
point.
I mean, overall, I would say, seemingly for you, like still being here, that you got a better case of COVID. I know some people it gets them down for the count, like they're out.
You said a better
But
case of COVID, Chris. I'm a
yeah.
G, man. Listen, look at who you talking to, man. You really think I'd be? I
Oh,
was
got
here.
you.
You saw me have COVID, Chris. I was on this screen with COVID, Chris. You watched me get at the worst, and now you watching me get better, Chris. I'm
Yeah,
still
man.
here, man. Yeah, you talking about better case of
I
COVID?
I
I'm me,
I know why.
Chris.
I know why you're better. I know why you're smiling. It's not because you feel better. It's because you got a free mint
It's
yesterday
not.
that took off. Yeah, it's because you got a
You
free
saw
mint that
that?
took
You
off
saw
yesterday.
that?
I saw that. I saw
I
that.
finally caught a
You want to tell us?
dove, man.
I know, man. You want to tell us about it?
Oh yes, yesterday. Risky Trades, man. He's been making good calls lately. Risky.
He has
He's
been.
also he's a Ninja Alerts team member, and he usually stops by in the comments. Yeah, he brought it to my attention about what was it called? Wizards remitting. They had a allow list already go through, and the public was coming up. And I had the pings from different alpha groups, but I'm lazy with that now. I kind of just ignore them until Risky brought it up. So I looked more into it, and it's looking like it's gonna be super hyped. It was already trading at point 0.3 before the public, and it was all supposed to be free plus gas. So the thing about this one is that they try to make it a little bit more fair and made it less likely that you could mint from contract.
Mhm.
So it's not going to be heavily bodied. But the thing they didn't expect was that a lot of people was going to try to mint from the website, and the website crashed multiple times. So they kept delaying the public launch for at least about an hour. And it's crazy. This delays and all these technical issues kind of worked in my favor because usually I don't win gas wars. I never win because gas wars is basically a money game. But
Yeah.
this time when it's crashing, some people can't get into the sites. It gave me just a little bit of time, that enough leeway for me to go right through and mint for $20 in gas, $20 in total
That's
gas. Man, I was
that's nuts,
ecstatic.
man. So was it just
Yeah.
like based on luck because you got into the website, or did you do anything special? I know you have like a node that you use sometimes, or
Yeah,
was it just yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the node helped, but I think a lot of it was based on luck as well because I got into the site, I already shared, you had to share to mint. I shared a while
Yeah.
back, like 30 minutes earlier, so it was already ready to go. And as soon as it popped up, it was acting weird. It was acting real finicky. Like it won't pop up. Then you have to go to MetaMask and do it yourself manually. And I saw it pop up, and I put my transaction through, then I instantly sped it up because I
Mm,
knew gas was gonna run as soon as
yeah.
everybody catches on, and it went right through. Then as soon as mine went through, gas shot up to like 700 gwei,
Dang.
almost up to 1,000 gwei. So I was pretty
Wow.
excited, man. I got a bag head wizard. It was pretty
Yeah, I
cool.
saw that. That's pretty awesome,
Yeah,
man.
and
So you already sold it.
I dropped that puppy, man. I was gonna
I don't
keep it
blame
for
you.
a while, hoping. The game is like you gotta get in before the influencers get in. So when you're
Mhm.
early, you just gotta wait till the bigger influencers hop on, and then it blows up to 1 ETH or above. But
Yeah.
then a little bit of FUD came in last night about because they said one wallet funded 400 wallets in the allow list and minted. And when
Oh
it
wow.
minted at the range of where all seven one of ones were. So it was super
Mm.
fishy.
Yeah,
Super
yeah, that
fishy,
makes sense.
especially because everything held up because they had it was supposed to be more fair because they was trying to negate botting, but then one wallet got 400 and had almost all the 101s, if not all the 101s. It knew exact range to min at to get all the 101s. It was, I mean, I couldn't stand, I can't stay for
Yeah,
that. So I had to hop out
I don't
as soon
blame
as
you.
I found out that news. And it sucks because it kind of ran after I hopped out. I hopped out at 0.31. It went up to zero point 0.4 instantly. As soon as I sold mine, it went up to zero point 0.4 instantly. And I see now this morning it's starting to drop again. What is it?
Mm.
At zero point 0.2
Point
now?
two, point two something. Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah, drop
I
back.
didn't catch the bottom for once. I usually ride this all
Yeah.
the way back down to like
Hey,
zero point zero
20,
0.05,
20,
but
$20, selling it for
300,
point three. Yeah, man. And that 300 is going to
300.
be more when ETH goes back up. That's a good play, man.
You just keep
I
saying
was
when ETH goes back up, man. I'm
when
talking
ETH
about
goes
right
back up. Yeah.
now.
Are you cashing out the ETH right now for USD?
No, I'm saying I don't want to. You don't know when that. Guest we had yesterday said in 2 years. Like,
Two
what are we
years.
on, Chris? I ain't
Either
trying to
way,
wait 2 years.
0.31 ETH is 0.31 ETH. It's a good win off of free mint. I was watching it too. And as you know, it got delayed like 3 times. It kept on saying it was going to launch. Then the website got overcrowded with 50,000 people. And I was like, I only get like twice a week to like really get away and like be outdoors. And it was yesterday. And it got pushed back. And I kept on checking my phone. And I'm just like, dude, I'm not even like enjoying nature right now. So hindsight, I probably should have kept trying. But I saw that there's 50,000 people going for it. I figured it was going to be an insane gap war. So I ended up fading it because I tried the first 2 times until the website crashed. So I ended up not even going for it. But this was a good win for you. We will move on because we don't have a ton of time today to the topic of discussion, which is OpenSea's delisting of BAYC. I'm not sure if you saw this. They did respond saying that there was just an error. But I mean, that's pretty scary, man, for people to get emails and saying that, here's Franklin sharing an item you own has been delisted. Like,
Yeah, I
that's
mean, a
sketchy,
lot. There's a
bro.
lot going on. There's a lot going on, man. I don't know what to tell you. There's really a lot going on. I guess OpenSea made a mistake, but it's just kind of fishy. it's
That's super
all,
fishy, dude.
all the
Like,
mistakes are just
man.
getting a little more fishy, Chris.
I love that all the
but
other exchanges or platforms commented. Luxury put the little like this. I saw Magic X2Y2. Maybe your lawyers also sent them letters by mistake. Ryder Rips, of course. Ryder Rip said you deserve it. Magic Eden put some eye. There's so much shade being thrown in these comments. People talking about the merch. I got delisted from OpenSea, and all I got was a T-shirt that makes my nipples bleed. But dude, that's sketchy. That's all I can say. Like that's DeKenza put it great. That's a big oof. I mean, that's all you can really say about that. OpenSea
yeah,
allowing apes to get delisted, man.
yeah, that's kind of weird. It's the number one NFT. That's really strange. It's really strange. But also, OpenSea did admit to a data leak yesterday as well. That was also big news. I don't know what's going on with OpenSea, but of course, we always in this show we always champion other marketplaces like Luxury, X2Y2, and you can just use Gem XYZ. That's kind of the best, almost the best way to buy stuff. It's still owned by OpenSea, but still, it shows different prices on different marketplaces like Luxury and X2Y2. But yeah, it's OpenSea, man. Like I'm not really surprised, man.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's just weird. Everything that's going on with the BAYC is just weird. That things just keep happening. That's not in their favor. But it was temporary. It's all fixed now, so we're all good to go.
We're all good to go. Just a little sketched out. But speaking of BAYC, we do have somebody here who's probably going to tell us about his first ever NFT. So let's go ahead and introduce him. Let me pull this down real quick. So this is somebody that you met at in Miami, right?
Gang, gang, of course.
That's awesome, man. Let's pull them on up. Welcome Smack Talk to the show. Thank you for being here with us.
Hey, Smack Talk, Smack Talk. What's good?
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me on. Appreciate everything. Always a good time at Butter Cat Gang. They know how to handle the IRL. At Chris Coffee, appreciate you having me on as well, brother. And yeah, what a market we're in right now. What an
Yeah.
environment in this economy is like. Not doing anything nowadays, just in this economy. So it's a crazy world we're living in right now. Just trying to navigate markets like you guys are.
Oh yeah. And so you're the reason I went to go take a COVID test, and I turned out to be positive. So you have COVID too, correct? Or no?
Yeah, I was gonna never had COVID before this, but unfortunately, when I went to
Really?
yeah, I'm actually vaccinated myself. But went to that NFT NYC event. Shared a couple backwoods with a lot of people, and unfortunately, caught the Rona. So I had to tell him. He was feeling a little bit drowsy. I said, hey, maybe he had a COVID test, and 19 positive. So it's unfortunate. Hopefully, me and you both get better soon, brother.
Oh yeah, I'm already better, man. It's. I told you, Chris don't know about this life. I'm a G out here, man. Like I heal up real fast. I still do the show while sick, but yeah, we got COVID, but we're still here. I'm real thankful you told me to take the test because I thought it was just a regular sinus infection. Like I get this once or twice a year, and it's the same symptoms. It goes through the throat, nose, and then I cough a lot, and it goes away. And it's going through the exact same motions, except it's positive for COVID now. but but yeah, thanks again for having me take the test. Now I could quarantine and let everybody else that has been around me know that I have COVID, so they could go take the test as well. And yeah, again, thank you. It was cool seeing you at NFC NYC though. That was pretty fun. What other events did you attend over there?
So I actually only attended the Thursday event currently. So right now at the moment, I only have Gutter Cat Gang assets as well as Pixel Vault, and we'll definitely get into that later on in the episode. A lot of people either like me or hate me on Twitter. My name is Mac Talk. Definitely will keep it PG on this episode, but letting on Twitter.
Nah, R is fine, dog.
Yeah. So, Pixel Vault, I would have definitely attended, but, little G Funk, he wanted to throw a pizza party and, tape the meta heroes onto the wall with tape. So, at the end of the day, when you get $100 million in funding, you throw a little bit more than just a little pizza party get together, right? So, me personally, it's actually crazy. One of my buddies, a good buddy I haven't seen in 5 years, it was his birthday that Thursday night, and he has no idea what an NFT is or any of this shit is. So I had a clone. Obviously, you can't bring a +1. So I actually had a shout out to Live Easy Apparel. He actually brought my friend on as a +1, and just wanted to say, if you have that are not into the NFT industry or they're not, fucking with the crypto or anything like that, maybe bring them to one of these events and see how they react. Because, to be completely honest, my friend had one of the best nights of his life, meeting a lot of people, networking, seeing what the actual, JPEG thing is in the community, seeing actual real faces, not just definitely a different approach to the whole scene. So that was definitely a good time. But would have loved to go, see the Moonbirds or Doodles. I love the Doodles event. I know a lot of people are, complaining at the moment with the containers and auctions and trying to suck money out of that community. It's definitely a hard,
Did
it's definitely a hard road.
see Mitch's bid? Did you see Mitch's bid? Classic Mitch.
Yeah, yeah, Mitch is up there. We could
20,
pull up the bidders. They have the thing out there. I'm gonna have to find it while you talk, but I think Pranksy's number one. Pranksy's out there talking about
Frank must have upped it. This was last. This isn't the official. This is just last night. But yeah, Mitch was at 25 ETH.
Nah, Pranksy's up number
Frank upped
one.
it. I think did he
Yeah,
up it to 40?
144. 144.
Really?
Well, last time I checked, I have to, because I
What?
was just looking at it on my phone this morning. When I woke up not too long ago, but I would have to
Yeah,
go
that's
find it
fine.
again.
Still, that's
But
crazy,
yeah.
man.
Well, I just
Now,
don't. I'm
yeah,
sorry
what's
to
up?
cut you off. Just a real quick, little connotation on that Doodles bucket auction. I didn't really like how they did that because at the end of the day, you see the same names at the top of the list, right? Pranksy, not sure who Mitch is, but shout out to him. He's number one. That definitely pays to do something. But just don't, in my personal opinion, you're seeing a lot of these NFT brands or companies take VC funding, and the first thing they want to do is exploit their community. And I just don't. me personally, Doodles is supposed to be this magical experience where it gets the community involved and really, turns experience. I just don't see how at the current moment of what they're currently doing, making everything convoluted like Pixel Vault and really just trying to, extract that value out of their community. I know they said, the NFT NYC event, they held off. They did the spaceship doodles and they didn't charge extra and they could have made an extra 40 million. But what is this bucket auction, right? We're just rewarding the same exact whales over and over again. So just figured I'd throw that out there. Just something that I'm having a little bit of trouble wrapping my head around, trying to make NFTs access for all. But at the end of the day, we're just seeing the same names at the top of the list every time.
Well, it is a money game, so we're all pretty much gonna keep seeing the same list of people who are bullish on stuff like this. And I don't know if you could read it on my screen, Chris, but Pranksy.eth has 140 ETH bid. Number 2 is Han.eth, which another 140 ETH bid.
I see him on Ninjalerts a lot.
Yeah, then Longverse, then CryptoNick, then a long string, then NFT Relic, and Thief is number 9 at 30 ETH. Yeah, Classic Mitch was here, but he just got knocked down.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah, but what I heard about these things is that I was trying to go through their FAQ, and it seems like if you don't get it, you get a full refund of what you bid. So they're trying to. I know it's a little strange, but they are extracting as much as they can, but it's looking like they're trying to figure out a different way for you to do auctions that you get refunded somehow. So it says how refunds work. Refunds will be automatically transferred shortly after the auction completes. This applies to successful bids who will also get their NFTs delivered, and losing bids. So what happens if I lose? All of the ETH in your unsuccessful bid will be refunded. So if you get knocked out, you don't really have much to lose at that point. But still, it is a money game. The people who ask the most are gonna get the most. Pranksy is one of those. I saw Pranksy's tweet about when people tweet positive things about what they're about to do. That Pranksy usually does, and yeah, she's number 1 right now. And so from my understanding,
all things considered.
No, go ahead.
I mean, all things considered, without the hate thrown on, I think they definitely had the best event at NFT NYC. So regardless if they're trying to extract money, this is a business at the end of the day. We're not investors, we're consumers, right? So definitely, I appreciate what Doodles is doing, trying to take that different approach. Just sometimes when you take such a different path or route, it becomes a lot, too convoluted for the normal person to understand.
Yeah, it does. I don't think they want normal people to understand this one. But I did hear that they're launching Doodles 2 in some other networks. Did they already say what network is going to be on? Because we spoke about it yesterday, but we were unsure of what chain they're going to have Doodles 2 on. I don't think they answered it in their facts.
Yeah, so I actually saw on Twitter there's a rumor going around that it's going to be on the Flow blockchain. I'm not sure who. Apparently, they have some close connections at Flow, and that's what they're trying to do. So they're trying to just bring that mass adoption. Me personally, I don't agree with it. I think they should definitely stay on Ethereum. It keeps that superiority and ultimately that longevity that we're investing in. We believe in the Ethereum ecosystem, right? But like you said, man, the Doodles is trying to do different from the rest of the pack and just trying out new different things, and you can't hate on that, right? But at the end of the day, actions have consequences. And if you're going to move off the Ethereum network, there's definitely going to be a lot of holders or, a small majority of the holders that are not pleased with that decision.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are not pleased with it. But they also said Doodles 1 is still going to be continued on ETH. So it's not bad. But do you think it waters down the brand, though? Because I know a lot of purists always complain about watering down brands. Like when the apes dropped mutants, a lot of people complained. When the gutter cats dropped clones, people complain. When they just drop more stuff, people complain. But they're pretty much just gonna drop it almost for free to a lot of people. under the Doodle name, but it's gonna be Doodle 2. Like, do you think that's gonna affect them? It's gonna hurt them? Because their current floor is still at around 14 Ethereum right now.
Well, bro, people are bipolar in this space. People like the airdrops. People want to get free money handed to them, and as soon as it's handed to them, they scream dilution. Oh my God, you just look at this. Oh my goodness, look at the main assets going down, dude. Of course, the main assets going down. There's like 30% of the people that purchase that main Genesis asset, just if they get that, they're dumping everything with it. So it's a hard game of push and tug to play because you're trying to get value, but you're also not trying to depreciate that Genesis. So I think that's what these teams are having a hard time doing at the current moment. The worst case of it, honestly, is the Doge Pound. I don't even know if you guys remember that project now. They're
A long time ago.
yeah, they were like the biggest, out there trying to get airdrops and trying to give value to their holders, doing that launch pad thing, but it ended up all falling apart because they added too many pieces onto the building block. It's like, a back can only hold so much weight until it falls, right? A person can only hold so much. So at the end of the day, ecosystem wants to bring, a lot more assets, a lot more values back to the holders, to show that value. But at the end of the day, if you pile on too much value on top of each other, it ultimately becomes worthless, right?
I also agree with what you said. Like, I don't think it's all just because it's being diluted, but people are kind of banking on those airdrops. So once they get the airdrops, the prices also drop. I mean, like take like the apes. Like after they got the mutants, the tokens, the other side, it's like there's in the back of your head, what's next? Like, is there any more value to be extracted? And of course, there will be, but I definitely think that drops floors just as much as them like diluting it. Because I mean, people are just waiting on more and more free stuff.
Exactly. This is just a game of what's coming next, right? So at the end of the day, the people that hold the Genesis asset from day one should be the ones that receive the most value back. But it's unfortunate that we're seeing a lot of these secondary collections actually, you know, disappearing the Genesis, look onto the whole entire collection. And ultimately it spirals out of control. Like I'll give you a great example, Pixel Vault, right? You have these sidekicks that were released or announced in September. We don't even know what they look like. It's been 9 months. So at the end of the day, it's like, how can I believe in the meta hero universe or that main Genesis asset of the meta hero secondary asset and even show us what it looks like? So that's why it gets a sticky situation. You could have a great first drop, but once it comes to that airdrop and, adding value on top of that first drop, that's when, the real innovators separate themselves from the cash grabbers.
So you called it Pixel? I heard they called it Beanie Vault, man. What happened with that? Is Beanie still involved?
Ken was trolling me OD in New York. See,
Yeah, I was. I was super trolling him. Every time he mentioned Pixel Vote, I mentioned Beanie's name, man, because he was trying to sell me on that shit. Like Pixel Vote this, Pixel like I was like, bro, that's Beanie's vote.
Liquidity, bro. I need some exit liquidity, bro.
That's
Him talking
funny.
about Beanie Vote. Like, how's that going? Is he still involved or what? What's going on with Beanie?
So the way I got involved in Pixel Vault is very interesting. So back in December, I'd sold an M2 Mutant, a Clone X. I had a lot of Ethereum at the current
Oh
moment. I was trying to think of, and I'm the last person. I'm just giving you the context of the situation. I'm not like throwing out assets out there, whatever that bullshit people try to flex on Twitter or whatever. But
No, I know. It's just you had all that. That's pretty good.
yeah, whatever. But it doesn't matter
Doesn't
now.
matter
I
anymore,
have
huh?
worthless. Yeah, me personally, it's
You
like
have dust.
I have dust, right? So it's like play to earn is something that I'm really adamant on. It's something that I personally think provides that innovation that we're looking for, right? That general, awakening where people, in my personal opinion, when you have kids, are going to be playing games to earn something, not just have that victory, go across the top. I always love Pixel Vault, always love Beanie. People, it's either a love or
Wait,
hate thing with Beanie. Me personally, I love Beanie. I just think that he kept the space interesting. He had some great, interesting points. Of course, he had some shady dealings in the past. A lot of people on Twitter have shady dealings. That I'd say, 80% of these people on NFT Twitter are not who you think they are, right? So it's a tough situation to be in, right? Because you believe in Pixel Vault, you believe in their vision. I like to compare it to Tesla, right? You could believe in Tesla's product, you could hate Elon Musk. So me personally, I believe in Pixel Vault's vision. I believe what they're trying to do with the comic, with the TV show, with the gaming option, even getting a little bit of piece of WAGMI United, who just signed with Adidas for their suits. So some cool things on that front. But unfortunately, you know, we're dealing with a lot of these companies, a lot of these brands in the space that don't actually have actual startup background. And you're seeing that. Me personally, I'm just going to throw it out there. $1 million home directly after the planet sale. And those planets, my brother, are at 0.04 or some obnoxious price. And we don't even know what's going on with that. They say, oh, it's coming, the Dow dashboard's coming out this month. That should have been months ago, right? But where did the money come from? $4 million in Ethereum. I can't even do the math. What is that, like 40,000 ETH? I mean, it's ridiculous that, some of these people don't understand how to run companies, how to run brands. So at the end of the day, it's like you have these bag holders that convolute to each other because they just want exit liquidity as well. So what I've noticed on Twitter, what I've noticed specifically around Pixelvault, troubling ideas, and ultimately doesn't really believe in the leadership and what's been going on. But ultimately, people want to sell their bags, right? People want to get exit liquidity. People don't want to be the one, holding the bag at the end of the day. So people come together and, in my personal opinion, it's a toxicity to the space, right? Because we're all trying to spew nonsense and bullshit and things that we don't actually believe just so that we can possibly tell ourselves that our investment is in the right place when we know it's not, right? So me personally, I'm smack talk. I like to shit talk online. I'm 100% raw and authentic. My bags are down.
Yes, you are.
My bags are down, 90%, 92%. I'm down bad, but I'm still going to speak my shit and talk up. End of the day, it's frustrating because Pixelvault has so much potential, but G-Funk and the team just lack focus so much that, they're just, basically self-sabotaging themselves and the future vision. So it's unfortunate to be a part of the process the last couple of months as a holder. Me personally, obviously, I wanted to see it to get better. I still believe in the vision, but it's just been very puzzling the last couple of months. And I definitely can think, if there's any Pixelvault holders in the chat, they can agree with me on that front, that it's been a very frustrating experience. And just to wrap the question around to you, Chris, what's your thoughts on Pixelvault? Do you have any, positive feelings on it, or are you just not touching it?
I'm not involved with Pixelvault. I was going to ask you outside of Pixelvault about centering around brand, building a brand and like companies that obviously just lack awareness on how to build it.
Hold on. Hold off just 1 minute. What? Let's not skip over the fact that this man just said, I love Beanie. That's a clip right there. He's the first person I've ever heard in my entire life say, I love Beanie. I just had to highlight that, man. That's nice. That's nice. You actually admit loving Beanie. Nobody does. Nobody in this space does. So yeah, I'm sorry, Chris. Carry on, man.
Oh, you're good. I didn't mean to divert it away from Pixelvault too much, but I was wondering on which NFT projects you think are doing a good job at building their brand and using the money that they've raised for their project to put back into the project. Like if there's any of that right now that you're looking at.
Well, it's tough, right? Because we're in a bear market right now. So not a lot of these projects want to deploy capital because they know at the end of the day, the market participants aren't really looking, right? The eyeballs really aren't really in the atmosphere at the current moment. But the one project that I could honestly say that's been doing a great job with everything, and a lot of people can disagree. They hate the centralized VC angle. Me personally, I love the Moonbirds. I just think that everything they're doing with that project, right when they minted out, I don't know if you guys know this, they withdrew all their ETH into USD. So they have a huge, giant war chest. And I don't know if you guys remember. I mean, that Moonbird, went up to 40 ETH like 3 days after they came out. So they have a shitload of royalties. They have a shitload of money. And me personally, I just think they're doing everything right. They're building an alpha community with actual like seasoned veterans in the space. If you're a millionaire, you have a lot of money, you can go ahead and get that proof collective pass. Yeah, like comment just said, K-Ro can pull off a plan. And shout out to KBB, King Blackboard. He calls him the NFT Jesus. I just think that Kevin Rose is someone that you could definitely trust your money in. And I think that, in my personal opinion, he's not trying to beat around the bush. He's trying to build value for his holders. And it's showing, with the NFT NYC event, you're seeing Tyler Hobbs do generative art before the show even starts. I mean, that's amazing. A lot of added value to the holders instead of it just being, here's a Moonbird PFP. And in 3 months, we're going to airdrop you some nonsense that's going to be worthless. No, like Kevin Rose actually has a plan. He knows how to execute. And at the end of the day, I think those Genesis assets are not only going to hold up in price, but are going to go up in price as the bear market.
I think one of the things you said in that is key as well. People used to think that they would do this to Rug, but like converting that ETH to a stable, that way they will have like that set amount of money to put back into their project, opposed to the projects that raised all that ETH and now are sitting on a huge loss on their ETH. Like that's significant.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but after taxes, you're still sitting way better than if you just held the ETH. Way better.
Yeah, because you'd be losing if you held the ETH. You still have to pay at the higher ETH.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You raise, I know, 100,000 in ETH. At the moment you raised it, whatever the US dollar equivalent was, you'd have to pay taxes on that. So if you went ahead and switched it to a stable and then put it back into the project, I mean, those companies are the ones that are doing it right. Obviously, not the ones that were like taking it out and using it for other things, but the ones that
for
are actually
house.
Yeah, for a house, you know.
Let's pull up that house, Smack Talk. Is that house available? Because we usually do that on this show, man. We go through the expensive houses, and we lament. Is that a house on Google? Can we find it somewhere so we could just check it out? You know, $4 million.
I have the link, but it actually shows his real address, so I don't want to dox.
Oh no, we can't do that. There's no Google.
This man's got his address. He's ready.
I know, right? What's going on, Smack Talk? I hope you're not pulling up.
G-Funk might be watching this. So I'm not coming to your house, G-Funk. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm just saying, it's kind of it's kind of interesting that you purchased a $4 million home after the Planet Mint when you said that you had no money before you started Pixel Vault. So I wonder where that money came from. Just all I'm saying.
Well, you already know where that money came from, man. Let's not beat around the bush.
And Chris, just to add on to your topic of putting that stable coin from ETH to stable coin, a great example of that is Nouns DAO. I don't know how much money they have in their in their treasury, but I think I saw a tweet today. They lost over $20 million from keeping their ETH in Ethereum, but the holders, they're not going to like that. If you don't believe in Ethereum, then there's no point of the project. How about you just be fucking smart, bro? How about you look at the bear market in the past couple of years and you run the company like an actual company that, we're all for staying in the ecosystem and keeping it in ETH. And, we're all believing in Ethereum. But at the end of the day, you got to protect yourself in that longevity of a roadmap that you have originally planned. So just my 2 cents on the situation.
Agreed.
So we do have a question from Kansas. Has Nouns done anything aside from pay for a Super Bowl ad that you're aware of?
I mean, I'm personally not in Nouns DAO, but me personally, I just think that Nouns DAO is trying to get that mass adoption feel of what a DAO, like a decentralized autonomous organization, actually is to the general public. So I don't think okay with just pissing away money for advertising and just getting that out there and doing this and that. I think they're trying to do like newsworthy events, right? Like we're going to allocate 1,000 Ethereum to go save, refugees in whatever country, right? So I think they're actually trying to do good in the world, not necessarily do Ponzi-nomics like 99% of the other projects are trying to do. So I think Nouns DAO is definitely here to stay, but it's going to be a long-term vision that's you're going to have to see, battle out in fruition, if that makes sense.
No, that definitely does. This is a little change of topic. It's what we usually ask at the beginning. I just really would like you to be able to share with Ken and the viewers. But what was your first ever NFT purchase? You want to tell us that story? It's just so interesting.
Yeah, no problem. So actually, I got into NFTs back in December of 2020. And back then, I was just lurking in the CryptoPunk group chat or the Discord. What a lot of people don't understand is as Punk Discord just turned into a pump and dump shill fest, right? But back in 2020, when I was in there for a couple months before, months before I even purchased that NFT, I would just sit in the Discord and just look and just watch and observe. Just think about what the hell these kids were talking about, these adults or whoever was in the chat. It just amazed me that a CryptoPunk NFT was worth anything and that these people were in there. And if you ever clicked on their bios, they were like sophisticated investors or, these people had huge followings on Twitter. Me personally, I didn't understand any of it. So I just stayed in there for a couple months, try to learn and try to figure out exactly what was going on. But the first NFT I was actually supposed to purchase was a Meebit. And it was the first weekend that actually happened. Shout out on Twitter. I used to follow him on YouTube. I saw that he was posting something about a Meebit on Twitter and noticed it was actually the same exact brand that made those CryptoPunks, right? So I was like, all right, I was able to relay that back and forth. And what I actually ended up doing was taking a $10,000 loan. And I definitely don't recommend people doing this, but I was at the San Diego by myself to work in tech, and I was just like, I want to take a chance myself. This looks cool. This Meebit, Larva Labs is very professional. They've had a long-standing NFT space since 2017. Why don't I take a try, right? So the loan actually took a couple days longer to process, and while it processed from 2.5 ETH all the way down to 0.65, and I believe Ethereum also cut in half. So while my money was transferring in, I just got more and more buying power as the day went on. And it honestly scared me, right? Because I see this Meebit, I have no money to my name. I'm going to use my entire loan, and little did I know, 3 days later, right? So I'm like, wow, I need to take a step back and think about what I'm really doing before I enter the money, into this market and make that decision, right? So months go on. I'm thinking about what I could possibly do. Bored Ape Yacht Club comes out, right? And not too long ago, about 4 years ago, and this is actually an inside scoop, I haven't told a lot of people this, but I actually did DMT, which is a crazy drug, a psychedelic drug. And I noticed that on the Bored Ape Yacht Club, they had the DMT skin, and it just always interested me. I was like, wow, this is interesting. But at the end of the day, it's a monkey, right? I just didn't understand. I understood the Meebit because it could be, a metaverse avatar, from Larva Lab company. That makes sense. But who the hell is Yuga Labs or Bored Ape Yacht Club? It just didn't make much sense to me. So as time went on, was looking on Twitter and FOMO started to set in. I had about 3 ETH in the account. The floor price was around 1.5 ETH. And I remember thinking to myself, all right, I'm going to pull the trigger tonight. I'm going to get a Bored Ape after the Meebits. I'm not going to worry about the Meebits at the moment because I'm too scared about that. And, maybe it even goes down to zero. Who knows? Because it was my first time ever experiencing volatility in the NFT market. And if anyone knows out there, obviously art is a liquid. Sometimes these floor prices go down because there's no volume. Didn't make much sense to me. So the first NFT I actually purchased with that loan was a pimp coat Bored Ape. And at the time, I definitely should have got 2 floor Bored Apes because I wouldn't have sold both of them. But ended up getting the pimp coat. It was a fantastic experience. Was in there for about a month. Was able to claim my kennel dog. But it's actually crazy. I thought that NFTs were a hedge against Ethereum. So I thought when Ethereum will go down, and that's when we saw.
That's how it was.
Yeah, that's how it originally was in the original bull market with Nifty Gateway, if you remember that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, this is a $10,000 loan. This is all I have. If I lose this money, I'm screwed, right? So I'm like, all right, let me try to get a rare one from there and see how high this takes off. So the dogs come out. Ethereum's going from 1,800 all the way back to 4,000, and I start freaking out because at the end of the day, I think it's that hedge against Ethereum, and I have to get out. So I ended up selling that pimp coat Bored Ape for 10 ETH. Sold the dog for 2, and not too long ago, I think that same ape sold. It's a crazy experience. I missed
Wow.
I missed the mutant airdrop. I missed the serums. I missed all this.
Yikes.
I could have been a millionaire, but at the end of the day, it's like it's a valuable lesson to understand because at the end of the day, you're so compulsive in getting into a project, getting into a gamble, a risk. Sometimes you don't take the time to actually sit there and think about what you actually own. So what I'm trying to say, and I guess what I got out of the story and what I've taken away from, paper handing like a bitch, the Bored Ape is just to take your time when investing. Don't rush into anything. Be patient when you're getting out because, we see a lot of these times, FUD and all this stuff being thrown around and people, disperse their assets. Obviously in a bear market, it's a good idea to do that. Probably would go down even more. But, really after that, after I fumbled the bag and, obviously I knew I fumbled the bag a couple weeks after. I think the apes had run from 10, and I had missed that entire run. But yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. But what you can take out of that story is just always be patient and cognizant of what you're buying into and where you're getting out, because it's just as important as where you're getting in as where you're getting out. So at the end of the day, obviously I didn't know what I owned was going to be $1 million asset. But that happens in the NFT space, right? You take swings, you take misses, and you're not going to hit every single play and you're not going to hit every single home run. But as long as you're in the market and as long as you're at bat and swinging the baseball bat, you're probably going to get another chance at that grand slam opportunity.
I love it, man. That's such great advice. I definitely know the next 200 ETH sell is going to be this, without a doubt.
It's going to be in a trash bag.
What?
Yeah, I mean, at least I didn't sell at the bottom. That's for sure.
No, but all jokes aside, that's seriously that's solid.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah, I mean,
I was just gonna say, do you get any more BAYC vibes from any collections? Like the same vibes you had back then when you bought your ape?
well, I should probably touch on that. So that's the one thing I'm very lucky to be a part of. So I was a part of the early Bored Ape culture and really starting that community up. And honestly, I don't see it anywhere else because, I'm not trying to be negative Nancy over here, but, 99.99% of these things are just Ponzi scheme, pumping them scams. A lot of these people say they're bullish on something, but then when you go check the floor, they're actually taking a 50% loss on their entire, collection. So,
Yeah.
what they're collecting. So I think people were a lot more honest back in the day, and I think a lot of BAYC collectors can attest. No one actually knew that we could make money off this shit. Like no one knew that the Bored Ape Yacht Club was going to be 100 Ethereum. Like we all had a feeling like maybe we can make some money off this, but that wasn't the intention. Like the intention was like talking with people, networking with people, like sending memes, like fucking around, like just doing normal, like cool fucking dope shit, right? Just dope shit together. It wasn't always about how can we do a Twitter space and do a raid and get people to buy our shit so we can get out and piss off people. It was more of just how can we have fun, how can we smoke weed together, and how can we just build a culture from the ground up. I don't see that a lot nowadays because obviously money has taken over, our minds and how we operate, in this space, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It has, man. It has. Chris, man, what are you gonna buy next, Chris? You gonna buy the
Shit.
next Bored Ape?
No, I'm gonna buy the next wizard WTF.
Are you? Or are you gonna buy some dust?
Uh man, I don't know. There's just not great projects dropping lately, so I don't
But
know.
I mean, Ken, you could honestly say that Gutter Cat Gang has some type of a similarity, right? Gutter Cat Gang was
Yeah.
actually the second NFT I ever purchased, and shout out to Ken. Actually, he was the first YouTuber that I actually ever saw touch on the Gutter Cat Gang. And the one thing I want to say during this bear market, we're seeing a lot of these assets go through the toilet. But if you're actually looking at Gutter Cat Gang, if you're a data oriented person, these unique ownership numbers are actually fucking insane. Like the Gutter Dogs, I think there's 3,000 supply. There's like 2,200 owners. So you're seeing a lot of people pick up Gutter Cat assets because at the end of the day, and this is just my personal opinion, a lot of people in Gutter Cat Gang at the current moment aren't worried about the price. They're worried about building culture and they're worried about actually building the bish word, right? People say community and all this bullshit, just another MLM Ponzi way of saying, whatever nonsense, right? But me personally, if I had to do any brand at the current moment that has potential to grow organically and not through influencer shills, if you know anything about Gutter Cat Gang, we've never paid any influencers to shill our
Yeah,
shit.
influencers don't like gutters, man. It seems they don't tweet about it. They make lists every single day and purposely just not put gutter cats on their list. Even though and the chart shows gutter cats are like top 8 NFTs ever, but people tend to try to not put them on the list. But hey, someday they will have no choice but to put them on the list. But
Well,
I do get what you're saying there.
because a lot of people think that Gutter Cat Gang has that imposter syndrome, right? Because at the end of the day, they do a little bit, right? A lot of the events, a lot of the the clones, same kind of the thing. But if it's not broke, don't
Yeah.
fix it, right? So I don't blame Gutter Dan and Co from going down that that path, but hopefully we see in the next couple of months or a couple of years that differentiating factor of what GCG actually is, represents within the community. So I think
I'm waiting.
just from a broader macro perspective in terms of the NFT market, I think that this is just a time period are trying to find themselves within their own individual marketplace, right? So it's very easy to come out with a product when everything's booming and everything's gonna pop up on icy tools and you'll make your quick buck and leave. But the brands that are actually here to stay and the founders that actually have good intentions for the community, I believe this is the time period thing out, trying to figure out exactly where they fit, in specific culture or whatever they're trying to do within the community. And ultimately, how do they have the moat and a product they can build out, for mass adoption, not for, Tom and Jimmy who's buying one and trying to flip it the next day and already has that information about NFTs, but audiences and that ultimately hate NFTs, right? The majority of the people that are not in the NFT space hate when they see a Bored Ape on TV or hate when they see this and that about NFTs because they think it's a scam, right? So in my
Yeah.
personal opinion, this time period is just about how can we appeal to mass adoption, but more importantly, how does our product fit in the current market, share at the current moment with all the rest of the projects. So it's just a hard time for the consumer at the moment because these brands are taking time off to figure out where they fit, while us consumers are just trying to make money as fast as possible. So that's the push and tug game at the current moment in the bear market. I think that we're in.
How do you play a bear market? How are you currently playing it when it comes to NFTs?
Yeah, so I definitely have my main conviction at the current moment. I mean, I still have my Pixel Vault bags, I still have my Gutter Cat, but a great trade I actually did. Last week I hit on the Lacoste NFT. I was actually for one night.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I swept
Wait,
30.
you was the number one holder?
Yeah, the
Hold
number
up,
one
hold up,
holder.
hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. You need a round of applause for this one. You need a round of applause. Because we talked about Lacoste NFTs on the show. We talked about pretty much all the hype NFTs on the show. And Lacoste was one of those. And you was the number one holder? Nice.
Yeah, man, it was the right place at the right time. So when you're on Icy Tools, bear market, there's not a lot of volume, right? Not a lot of people are throwing their money at NFTs, but this is actually a great way to identify value. I'll just give you a little bit of a spiel here. Went on to Lacoste, went onto their Twitter and actually saw that you get an IRL merch item, a custom merch item that's specific to that NFT, right? So at the end of the day, Ethereum is so cheap right now. 0.15 is only, at the time, it was only $150. So the way I was looking at it is, if this NFT goes to shit, at least you get that in real life object, fashion brand from years. They've been around for 10 plus years at this point. So you got to think, that physical piece of merch has got to be worth more than $150, right? So it just looked like stealing candy from a baby. So if I think this, maybe the other market participants think this, right? So I woke up the next day, the floor is at 0.25 and climbed all the way to 0.4. So I guess what people were realizing is, even in this bear market, you're able to find opportunities if you're able to look for it, right? Not just you go on Icy Tools, you see what's trending, you buy. No, you see what's trending. Oh, Lacoste, I remember them. I have a jacket. You see what they're actually offering with this NFT. And if you're actually able to do some due diligence with ETH this low, from companies coming from Web 2, you have to understand that there's a little bit of a value misplaced, with the value of ETH gone down so much, as well as the utility that some of these brands are providing with their NFTs. So that's just something that I was able to dig into last week and was able to make a couple of Ethereum off that trade. So that was good.
Nice.
Just getting in and out. I think that, this market's just very volatile. I'm not here to hold something for a couple of weeks, just here to really just to get in and out and add back to those, conviction bags that I have and just keep stacking Ethereum or keep stacking all the other coins that
Very solid advice. See, that's how I felt, Ken, about the Bloomin' Buds, that real world utility.
This guy, man. This guy and his blooming buds, man. Go ahead, Chris. Cry for us about your buds again, Chris. About
I'm
your
good, man.
onions.
I'm over it.
You're over it?
I'm over
You
it.
sure?
Yeah. I thought it was the next Lacoste play, but I was wrong.
He was all the way wrong.
Chris, you got to tap in with Smack Talk next time, bro.
Right?
I know, dude. Yeah, I got to check in with you, man. Are you an Outback fan? You like Outbacks?
What do you mean?
It's a steakhouse.
Oh, Outback. Yeah, I love Outback. Yeah, bro, the blooming onion bust, bro.
Yeah.
My taste buds, bro. When my taste buds smacks the blooming onion, bro, it's like fizzling in my mouth, bro. That shit goes crazy.
Right. I was trying to tell Ken that. So they dropped an NFT project, and for every one that you bought, you got a free bloomin' onion and 2 Dr. Peppers. So I thought maybe more people would like that, but it died out. But at least at least now I get a bunch of bloomin' onions with Dr. Peppers.
That's hilarious.
You
Bro.
thought, Chris. I thought. Yeah, as soon as I bought it, went straight to hidden, man. I forgot I had it.
You keep everything in hidden. Everything.
Not my dust. You go to my
except for your
go to
dust.
my address. You just see dust, man. Nothing but dust.
So they're actually bloom now.
Damn, you give him an opportunity to show you too. Shit.
Man, nobody bloomed theirs, but yeah, they can actually bloom now. I don't know why people are still buying them. But yeah, that's it.
It was 003. Is that what
Yeah.
I saw?
This shit
Yeah.
worth less than a refill.
Yeah,
uh,
it probably wasn't worth it, but you know, it is what it is.
so Smack Talk, the biggest thing going on in the NFT space for the last few weeks is BAYC versus Double R BAYC. I just wanted to ask, what's your opinion, if you have any, on that situation?
Yeah, I mean it's a tough situation, right? Because Ryder Rips has done his, extensive research. A lot of people don't respect him. A lot of people do respect him. It's either a love or hate relationship. But definitely think it needs to be brought up, right? Because there are some traits on that Bored Ape collection that are mysterious and curious, right? Like I said, I was a part of the early culture. When I saw that, kind of looks like a SWAT stick of that Russian. I'm Jewish myself, right? So it just didn't make much sense to me that they would include like a SWAT sticker basically on a on the hat. But I think it's interesting, but I don't think it merits this much of attention because I think that Ryder Rips at the end of the day is trying to make a name for himself as the guy that got sued by Bored Ape, more so as the guy that's, I think, Ryder teasing them saying, oh, they're not going to come and sue me, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, all
Yeah.
right, maybe I'll just mint my own NFTs and I'll commit, actual fraud. Maybe they'll come after me. So I think this is just a case of, a clout chaser trying to get attention. Me personally, I don't think Bored Ape Yacht Club is racist. I think that, there are some like that SWAT sticker, like I noted. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't think anything comes up from this. I saw a lot of tweets on my Twitter. They may not even get into the courtroom, for another, 3 or 4 years. This is going to take a long time.
Really?
And at the end of the
Jeez.
day, this is going to cost each party, multiple six figures. So as a Yuga's case, they think so, right? So I personally don't have an opinion on the situation. I think that Bored Ape Yacht Club is not racist. I don't think that the founders are some 4chan trolls trying to, wipe racism all over the world secretly. I honestly don't think that. But definitely think that, if someone wants to have a much evidence backing up their claims, then maybe they do deserve to have a conversation in front of a judge. So I'm not, the person to say whether Ryder Rips has a point to make here. I just think that me personally, in my personal standpoint, I don't believe the entire story of them being 4chan trolls or racist or anything like that. My experience back and forth back in the day in the chat, I always thought they were nice guys. So, I mean, obviously looks can be deceptive. I don't know the full story. I don't think anyone knows the full story. And I think it'll definitely be interesting to see, what ends up coming out of that trial and, how everything plays out. What do you think about the whole situation? They're racist, or you think it's just a misunderstanding?
A misunderstanding. I don't know about misunderstanding, but I don't know. That's the thing. That's what I talked about in the show. Like when the accusations came up a while back, like many months ago, the founders were just kept quiet. Like they didn't really give us their side of the story. They just started coming out now with the how they made it. Then it showed the email from when they was creating the logo. So they finally started to speak up now. But I personally think it might have been too late. The damage has already been done. Ryder has wounded them. Like Ryder's collection is still number one above Bored Apes in volume in the last 24 hours. So whether it's wash trading, I don't know. But still, I think that they waited too long to respond back. So from all those months, it kind of cooked, it baked in. Like maybe what all these accusations might be true, since they're not refuting it. They're just being silent. Like, oh no, don't listen to that. Let's do something else. So to me, it took them too long to respond, but they're finally responding. So the new information is coming out.
But if they would have
So I'm just
responded, if they would have responded earlier, they would have been the ones to bring attention to it because like nobody was talking about it months ago. So like
no, people
it would have.
were, Chris.
Let's be
People were.
let's be real though. It didn't have a fraction of the attention that it did after that video of Bored Ape Nazi Club. Because like we were talking
Well,
about it on
yeah,
the
no,
we were talking
not.
about it on the show after the article dropped, and I just think that if Bored Apes would have brought it up then, they would have brought similar attention as the video, and they're probably just hoping that it would die out, but
The
instead of like
article
inflating the
dropped.
situation. Yeah, the
What
article that
article?
Ryder Rips wrote on. The article that Ryder Rips wrote on it originally.
Oh, I mean, we weren't doing this show when it first came out, Chris. It was many months ago that Ryder started. He did the space, but before that, there was different spaces on it. It just never got
Yeah.
attention
Like,
until Ryder
I guess my
himself started
point
to do it.
I guess my point is, if they would have brought it up, that would have been the attention that it needed to get here. And I think they were just hoping they didn't want to be the
Hoping it
catalyst
doesn't
for
get
that.
here.
Yeah, honestly, probably as a brand, they probably were hoping that it didn't like blow up. But now that it did,
But
they have to
it
address
blew
it.
up.
It did, yeah,
Well,
but it blew up, and now they're here.
if they would have nipped it in the butt when it was little,
But they
it
would have been the
wouldn't
ones
have
to
got
get
here.
big. No matter
I
what
mean,
their
if they
response
would
would have
no,
been.
if they would have refuted it, they're refuting it now though. It's the same
They
response,
are, and
Chris.
they're not getting a good response now after refuting
I
it.
know,
Like,
I
that's what
know.
I'm
If they would
saying.
have, I'm saying if they refuted it back then when it was so small, it wouldn't get this far. Is what I'm saying. They would have had more believers. There wouldn't be a documentary on it
Well,
at
if
this point.
Well, Chris,
Is what
if
I'm
I could
saying.
add something real quick, I just didn't understand Ryder Rip's adding the so-called racist traits into his collection.
Yeah.
Right? So, what's the point of? I understand his conceptual art, and he's trying to make it so that quote unquote you can't copy an NFT. But if you're really trying to make a movement and show an against Bored Ape kind of thing, why wouldn't you just remove all the traits that you consider racist? Right? It just didn't make much sense that he included the helmet, the hat. I can't even name all the traits that he named, but it's just me personally as a viewer, I personally didn't understand. It looks like grifting at the end of the day if you're not able to remove the racist traits that your election. It just kind of looks like a hypocrisy solution, in my personal opinion.
I mean, he didn't make anything, so he didn't. He just pointing back to the original images. He didn't make.
Well, that's the thing. He's complaining about racist imagery while re-uploading that same racist imagery and profiting.
No, yeah,
so how does that make any sense?
I think at the end of the day, we all know that Ryder just wants money and fame, even if it's not the best way to get fame. And I mean, it's as simple. I think it's as simple as that. Now, that doesn't like negate the possibility of all this being real, but it also doesn't. It's kind of a weird situation because like Ryder clearly doesn't seem to be a good human being either. So,
He doesn't.
No.
Why does he not seem like to be a good human being, Chris?
Because he's said things that you just shouldn't say, like clearly racist things that you shouldn't say.
So a racist is calling out other people for being racist?
Yes. Like as in Ryder is calling Ryder being a racist is calling out other people for being racist. I think, I'm not gonna make those accusations, but like based on what I've seen of Ryder, and I mean what Smack Talk said, like I think him just re-uploading the same images, all the same ones, even the ones that include the racist traits, kind of says a lot. It so much of it just points to he wanted money and fame.
He didn't upload though, Chris.
You know what I mean? He could have pointed to not those same images. Like he could have pointed
brother,
to.
if he's truly an artist, bro, he could have definitely removed those traits and maybe even put a Ryder Rips logo or something. He could have even made it even more spectacular in his eyes. He could have added his own, just laziness.
He didn't do anything, Smack Talk, is what I'm telling you. He's just pointing to the same. He created a token and he's just pointing to the exact same IPFS images. Like he didn't make a thing. He didn't draw anything. He didn't upload anything. He didn't download anything.
If this consumer didn't have anything to sell us, bro, then I would be okay with what he's trying to do. But at the end of the day, he's making money off this what's cool and what's in and the recent topic and the recent buzz and the, oh my god, right? Oh, here's the product, go buy it. He's a fraud.
I agree.
At the end of the day,
I agree.
It doesn't really. If I'm trying to make a point, right, I'm not going to sell you a product and try to profit off that thought or that make. So at the end of the day, I just think that it was really rhetorical and honestly stupid of him to make a collection and charge for it. I think that it was the right idea to build that ape marketplace. He's trying to provide himself as an asset to the community. He's not just a troll. I believe that's why he did that, to try to get some positive limelight. But he really shot himself in the foot. As well as that guy Phil shot himself in the foot as well, because they ruined both of their credibility by trying to make money off some bullshit that they're trying to stir up. So it doesn't have to be bullshit, right? They're going to court. This will be settled out in the court of law. But, charging and making money off some fucking idea that you're trying to bring up is, in my personal opinion, nefarious. So.
Well, what if he feels wounded though? What if he's the biggest racist, he's the biggest troll, but then he sees a bigger racist and a bigger troll, and now he he wants to fight them? by trolling them. Exactly what he's doing.
It's an interesting story, man. I think in the next couple of years, we're going to see it play out. Bored Ape Yacht Club being the biggest NFT brand out there, it's definitely an interesting point. You have all these celebrities that are backing it. You have, Eminem and Snoop Dogg just had an ape music video, and you have this Bored Ape Nazi Club video going viral. It's definitely hurting the brand, right? So they didn't refute these claims back then. They actually had someone from the ADL refute the claims. So that's what they did. That's what the rebuttal was back then. They tried to do it very minuscule and just play it that way and go to that ADL and say, hey, this is not racist. But at the end of the day, with all this coming in and all this mass attention coming up, if you have a 1.1 million viewed video that says Bored Ape Nazi Club, accusing the founders of being, 4chan Nazis, it's definitely in their best interest to try to clear that up, in a legal type of situation to try to, mitigate the risk that, Ryder Rips and Phil have brought onto them. So I think they did everything they think to see how this will, settle up in court in the next coming years.
Agreed,
Yeah,
man.
it would be very interesting. It's more content for us. It's the biggest thing going on. It's a bear market. It's nothing going on. Chris keep talking about onions every day, so we got to talk about something, bro. We got to talk about something. And we don't have any investment in anything. We don't have BAYC. We don't have regular BAYC, so we're not really financially involved in any of this. So that's why we could talk and change positions whenever we want. But I see you do have to go soon, right, Smack Talk?
Yeah, I'm actually on a work trip at the current moment and actually got COVID like you did back in New York City. So just been, holding up over here, but do have a meeting to go to. But really do appreciate you guys having me on today. It's greatly appreciated. Love shooting the shits and going back and forth in this bear market. Just trying to stay alive myself and navigate these tough waters as you guys are and as well as the community is. So appreciate you guys having me on. You can go give me a follow at Smack Talk on Twitter with 2 A's, SMAACK Talk. It should be in the special guest there. But Chris, Ken, really appreciate y'all having me on. Would love to be on once again in the near future, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the show, Smack Talk. Really appreciate it.
Yes, Smack Talk.
It's really nice to see you again.
Appreciate it. As he said, follow him on Twitter. He also is making his own Web3 assets that are really cool that we talked about before the show. So definitely give him a follow. And this is Thursday, so we will see you guys Monday. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll see you then.